Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Okay, this is Music Link with Kimmie Diamond. Content brought to you by Music Arena, and this is your host, Kimmie Diamond. Okay, I'm super excited. All right, because we have a special guest here. Okay, a special guest, a hip hop pioneer, especially out here on the West Coast. One of my hometown heroes. Okay, all right, this is gonna be a good one, okay? I welcome you guys and reintroduce you guys to the legendary Ice T. Now,
What's up?
okay,
What's up, Kimmie? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I cannot complain. I'm all right if I'm upright, and I'm happy. Life is rough out here, but if you're breathing, you should be grateful.
Facts. True. True. Now, to all the people that's listening and tuning in, y'all got to understand that I got to reintroduce, of course, to the new generation. I'm from an era where CD sales was going down to where music is a little bit more accessible on devices and other places, but you came from an era where CDs and tapes, okay, the cassette tapes in the car. Yeah, you came around that time. Yeah, I know. So to everybody, to the new hip hop heads and stuff like that, and everybody that's in that realm, Ice T is definitely one of those rappers and legends that y'all should definitely tune into because he served a huge purpose to the hip hop scene, especially out here at on the West. Okay, so first things first, we finna start with the hip hop capsule. Now, hip hop capsule, we gonna dig into his work in the previous years back then. Gotta start off with the first one, Ryan Page, 1987. Woo, jeez. Okay, got singles, 6 in the morning, make it funky, and somebody's got to do it, and it's RIAA certified gold. Okay, so Mr. T, Ice T, can you
Yes.
describe the significance of Ryan Pace's this album cover? Legendary.
Well, Ryan Page was the first. I was like the first rapper signed to a major label, and I was signed to Sire.
Mm.
I was signed to Sire Warner Brothers, and I had street success with 6 in the morning, and I went to New
Mm.
York City and got with Africa Islam, DJ Africa Islam, who really helped lace me into the hip hop scene because there was no West Coast hip hop scene. So you kind of had to
Mm.
get a little love from New York to get through that door. And so by having him produce, it gave me that juice. Similarly, the way Cube went out there and had the Bomb Squad produce his first album. This is the way it's a lot of us had to get entry into hip hop. But the album Rhyme Pays is just a play on the word crime pays.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty active in the streets. I wasn't no gang member, but I was out there, breaking the law, getting money, hustling. And
Mm-hmm.
rap came along and kind of saved my life. It gave me another direction, another focus, something I could do and duck that penitentiary because too many of my friends were getting stuck. So when I did the album, I said rhyme pays, you know what I'm saying? I'm actually getting money legit. So the album cover had to be California. So you got me in the Porsche, you got the girl in the bathing suit, my girl at the time, Darlene. We had a palm tree strategic. So
Mm-hmm.
that there was no mistake that I was a West Coast rapper. That was the intention of that album cover, that it said everything about the West Coast, the sun, the car, the girl, and that palm tree in one picture. So that's what the intention of that album cover was.
Oh my goodness, yes, and it's very legendary. I remember seeing this cover at middle school and playing 6 in the morning in middle school, especially in my room because my mom didn't want me to hear that. But yeah. So okay, the second question I got for you is, what's your most memorable event from this album? Was it the studio sessions, the promo run, anything in that significance?
Um, that album, I only got $40,000 to make it. I spent
Mm.
most of that money on equipment. you know, and I recorded that album and I mixed that whole album in one night in the studio with no automation. People nowadays, you go in the studio, all the lights go out automatically. At this time, we had to do everything by hand. We had to reach over and touch the buttons, and it was a lot of work. But we knocked that album out, and with a $40,000 budget to get an album to go gold, and though I think now it's about 800,000, 900,000 records, that was a big profit. We made a lot of money because I didn't get up front. There was no video for this album. And you know, I think really the biggest part of it was really seeing the results of the record and how much money it made. It was pretty exciting at that time. And earlier you said it was a moment in when you sold 800,000 records, that was 700,000 or 800,000 people that actually stopped their car, went into a record store, looked at all the other records and bought yours, and then took it home. And nowadays you just push a button. You might not even buy the whole album. You could get a record. It's a lot less commitment than back in the day. So it really meant something when you could do gold or platinum. That's 1 million people that actually stood in line with your tape or your CD at the time. So really big accomplishment. And for the West Coast, you got to remember this record came out 2 years before NWA. So this was early. Only other person had a record out at this time was Too Short.
True. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And everything that you said, it goes in line with the album title, Rhyme Pays. And it did.
And you know, I was just on the early, I was like the first person that really connected crime into hip hop music and stuff, because that's all I really had to draw on. I didn't really have any other experiences other than street experiences. And I didn't really know if our audience would listen to that. But then 6 in the Morning was inspired by Schoolie D from Philly, who made a record called PSK. And PSK, he said it was about a gang called Parkside Killers. And once I heard that record, I'm like, that was the green light. That was like, oh, we can sing about this shit. Like, people want to hear about this shit. And that, I kind of jacked Schoolie D's cadence because he said, PSK, we making that green. People always say, what the hell does that mean? And everyone was yelling on records. And I said, this fly ass nigga, who is this nigga? Like, and so I did the research. And so I did 6 in the Morning, police at my door. I came in smooth like that, which inspired Q. And then Q came in, the boys in the hood are always hard. So we was all rocking that same cadence and that same energy. And kind of gave the West Coast an identity.
Facts. Yeah, y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Okay, all facts, all history. I love it. And the next question is, what is your assessment about the formation of gangster rap?
Well, early when I did Rhyme Pays and I did Power, there was no name for it. So the press was trying to call it reality rap, but I'm not a gang member. So the thing of it was that I wasn't using the term gangster. I was the LA player at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I was on some different shit. You know, I'm more of what you would call a gang affiliate. Like, your dad's a gang banger, but you're not, right? But
right.
But you're a gang affiliate. You're affiliated with the gang. So you deal with the same drama as the gang banger does, not even being in the gang, because you hang around them. You with them. Those are your people. Those are your family, your friends. So I went to Crenshaw High School, which is Rolling 60s, 8-Trade Gangsters, Hoover Crips, Harlem Crips, right? All these are my boys, right? So I'm immersed in the Crip culture, but I was just smart enough not to join no set because it would like make me an enemy of the other set. So I just knew the shot callers, and I knew how to move and shake and keep it gangster and keep it fly. So I was on some player shit, and then Cube came out, and said, straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from the
Mm-hmm.
gang called niggas with attitudes. So he referred to
Yeah.
NWA as a gang. The
Yeah.
press said, oh, this is gangster rap. You feel me? The press coined
Mm-hmm.
gangster rap. So everybody rocked with it, right? So then I
Mm-hmm.
came back my next album. I said, well, if this is gangster rap, I'm the original gangster, right? So that's why OG came out, because I was still staking
Yeah.
my claim, and whatever this shit is, nigga, I was the first. So fuck that. So
Yeah. I love it.
but my music leans more toward playing and hustling than it did the gangster shit in real life.
Right, right. Right. And the reason why I asked that question is, of course, being from out here from, the West Coast, and you as Ice-T, they're gonna put you in that category. So I wanted to get your assessment on that,
No,
just
my
to.
shit is definitely gangster rap. I mean, anytime you solve your problems with a gun, anytime you don't use the police, you a gangster. Gangsters aren't only gangbangers. There's a drug dealers are gangsters.
That's
Pimps
true.
is
Yeah.
gangsters. Gangsterism is just basically I don't use the police and I solve the problems with the street, code. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Little Kim's a gangster rapper. Tupac's a gangster rapper. Foxy Brown's a gangster rapper. Jay-Z's a gangster rapper. Wu-Tang Clan, gangster rapper. If you talk street shit, you gangster rapping, okay? If you like Lauryn Hill or somebody and you singing something different, that's not gangster rap. But most of these chicks now,
Mm-hmm.
Cardi B's gangster rapping. All these, I'm listening to Nicki Minaj talking about she got pull up and smoke and she got a ski mask. I'm like, it's gangster rap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but you was around when it first started to expand and being in the forefront. You know what I mean? So the next question you have is that I have is, how would you describe the partnership between you and DJ Evil E?
Well, what happened was with me, I had an intention to be a DJ. I wanted to be like Uncle Jam's Army. And I was in the, yeah, I went into the military. I was in the military for 4 years. Once I got out of high school, I got my girlfriend pregnant and I decided I wanted to try to do something right. So I went in the Army. And in the Army, that's why I got hip to hip hop. New York cats had tapes. So I came home with the idea. I said, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like Uncle Jam's Army. I bought a bunch of speakers and stuff, and I tried to throw some parties, but I got more attention just rapping. Kind of taught myself how to rap. Like I got more attention doing that. So I met Evil E and Henry G. They're from Brooklyn. They called the New York City Spin Masters, but they moved to California with their parents. They're Haitian.
Oh wow!
No, they're Honduran. Dear God, don't let me say that wrong. They're from Honduras. So
No, we got you.
yeah, so they were doing parties, and like the DJs would party at 4 or 5 house parties a night because they would only spend an hour, then they would move. And I started hanging with them, and then I slowly started getting my name on the flyers. And that's how Ice-T started to get known around LA. Then also Uncle Jam's Army, there's a big crowd of kids between the ages of 16 and 20 that couldn't get into clubs.
Right.
So Uncle Jams was throwing these parties, these early basic black raves. They would do the LA Sports Arena where they could have 7,000 kids dancing with no acts, just Egyptian Lover and Bobcat and Battle Cat and all those DJs playing. And they would let me rap. I was the only person they would let rap. And that's how I started getting my name buzzing out in the streets.
Wow. That's crazy. You lived a life, man.
Yeah, I did. Well,
So,
you have to get started somewhere, and you know, a lot of people start when they drop their record. A lot of other people start doing a lot of gigs before they get to make a record. So I think that's one of the problems with a lot of music now. A lot of people get signed and they've never performed. They've never performed, and they're on the stage cold. They have no idea what it's going to be like outside of that studio.
Right. We seen it all played out right as soon as they get on that stage. I definitely agree. Yeah. So the next question I have is musically, which portion of this album prepared you for the second album? Was it the creativity, the business and music that you learned, etc.?
I think the second album is called Power. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't realize my voice mattered. I mean, I'm rapping on the first album for me. I'm just talking my shit. But now you got fans, and I didn't know I had fans. You know, you don't start off with fans. You start off with a few people. Now you got 1 million people, 500,000 people that fuck with you. And that's when I was like, these words have power. That it's more than just me now. I'm singing to people. And so that's what the second album was more about. You know, it's like, you know, and it had the legendary album cover, which has it has 3 levels of power. This first power is, of course, Darlene with the gun. That's power of sex. The power of sex is still one of the biggest powers on earth.
True.
It doesn't have to say anything. You just look at it and go, sex. That's power. The second power is a gun. That's basically the only reason someone will have power over you is you're either afraid of them or they have something that you need. So, you know, that gun makes you afraid. And if you flip the cover over, you'll see that Evil and I are hiding guns. It's the power, which is the power of deception, which to me can be the coldest power. The power of the person you think did it is not the person who did it. It's somebody else, and you're not even aware of what's the moves that are getting made. So that album came out. I think that album's platinum now, right? You seem to know how many
it's platinum. Yes, it's
so
platinum.
Now I got momentum. All right. So now we rolling, and the, you know, I think the first lyrics in that record, I say I'm living large as possible. Posse's unstoppable. Style topical. Vividly optical. Listen, you'll see them. Sometimes I'll be them. And that breaks down Ice-T's style. I'm topical, vividly optical. And if you listen, sometimes you'll see what I'm saying. And sometimes I'll actually be the character and I'll rap from their perspective. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Right. And that's what I took from this album too as well. And you also had singles, I'm Your Pusher and High Rollers. And before we get to a segment called Bar Time, where we talk about certain bars from this album and from the singles that you mentioned, that I mentioned on the album, I love how the 2 videos, I'm Your Pusher and High Rollers, it showed a different meaning. Like, I'm your pusher, you was pushing CDs and music and not drugs. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what you're saying, how you had a voice and people are listening and how much power people take. So I love how you didn't, you know, you showed a different perspective. Like, you pushing music, and this music ain't no harm to anybody. It's better getting music off the street than drugs. And that's what something that you was pushing the whole time. And also in High Rollers, that music video in particular, it was like you teaching people who are younger than you, like, look, this fast life is going to get you to a fast result, either jail or in the cemetery to clean it up. And it's so many lessons from these singles. And it wasn't just regular hip hop songs. And back to what I said before when I reintroduced you, how this album also served a purpose too. You know, it wasn't self-preservation type deal. It was more so like, okay, people are tuning in. Back to what you're saying, people are tuning in now. My voice really like means something. It touched people.
Well, you know,
So one of the what you said? Sorry.
I was gonna say when you're doing this gangster rap shit, you know, my boys is in prison. Everybody's stuck, and they telling me, "Ice, don't send nobody to jail, cuz." You know,
Oh,
and don't push this invincible line. You know what this is. This shit is dangerous. So one thing Ice-T always try to do is show you both sides of the game. Now, some kids they think that's corny. It's like pre and post prison rap. Like if you've never been to prison, then you may not like me because I sound like I'm warning you of some bullshit. But if you go, then you say, "Oh, Ice was telling me. The nigga told me." You know, so I have a conscience and I could never just promote the streets like you was gonna get away with it. I couldn't promote it because I always knew the danger that was involved in it. And even though I was part of it, I wanted out. You know, I wanted out. I don't understand why niggas want to go in this shit if they don't have to. So that's what you heard in the music. You heard me saying, yeah, this is fly, high rollers. Oh, you want to be a high roller. It looks good. It looks good. But then at the end of the video, I'm standing over my dead body, looking at it. You know, like, is this really what you want? So that you caught it. You understood, you know, what I was trying to convey. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like rap, that's my thing. I'm a hip hop baby for sure, for sure. So, the first bar that we have here from "I'm Your Pusher" is "I'm the kingpin when the wax spins. Crack or smack will take you to a short end." So, explain that bar to the people.
Well, you know, the whole "I'm Your Pusher" record was taken from Curtis Mayfield's song "I'm Your Pusher," and when I was in junior high, you said and when you were starting out, you heard songs. "I'm Your Pusher" was the first record I ever heard with the word "nigga" in it. You know, it was like so cold because I'm that nigga, and I was like, what the? It was just like, you know, like that was cool to me. So when I finally now I'm making music, I'm like, I want to use that hook. So we're gonna push music. We're gonna play on the word. We're gonna push music. So if you a gang, if you a drug dealer, the object is to become the kingpin, become the big guy. So I say, well, I'm the kingpin when the wax spins. When the records spin, I'm the kingpin. And crack a heroin will take you to a sure end. And I'm just really just saying that, you know, we got to get high off this music and leave these drugs alone. I couldn't tell you no great stories about anybody I know doing drugs. I tell you that. So just a way of my anti-drug record with a twist on it.
Yeah, you did that very well. Very well.
Here's something that I just found out. You know, Pusha T from
Clips.
The Clips, not Eclipse, the Clips. Named himself after that record. Pusha T took the word "I'm your pusher," and that's where he got Pusha T. So that record inspired that brother's name. I was like, that's dope.
That is dope.
Yeah.
That is dope. That is so dope.
Yeah, and he's a super rapper too.
He is. He is a good lyricist. I keep on trying to tell people. And the next,
if y'all want to know, I'm not sipping syrup. This is great Kool-Aid. This is what real G's drink.
Oh, gee. Oh, my goodness. Old school stuff. And the next bar that we have here is from "I'm Your Pusher" as well. Is "You don't need it. Just throw that stuff away. You want to get high? Let the record play." Yeah. So touch up on that bar a little bit.
You don't need it. Just throw that stuff away. You want to get high? Let the record play. I'm just really telling people, don't do drugs. Like, get high off of the music, you know? Like, this record was made during the crack epidemic, and you know, I like a lot of people when Coke first hit, Coke was a fashionable drug because only the rich could afford it. You know,
Right.
people sniffing powder, it was fly, it was glamorized, you know. But when they took it to crack and they made it, you could get it for $5, it became super addictive and it really started to destroy our community. And it was two things happening. You got young brothers getting rich, serving, but then at the same time, we killing each other. So it was a very difficult paradox to deal with, you know. But I decided to take a stance against it. And you know, my record wasn't against the drug dealer, it was just against the drug user. Like, come on, stop it, you know.
Right.
It was an attempt. I think a lot of records, you know, Brand Nubians had Slow Down, you know, hey baby, you know, your hips get, yeah. I can't even think all the words he said to it. Slow down, baby. You know, it was all about crack, you know,
Yeah.
so there was a movement in hip hop. Public Enemy did Night of the Living Bassheads. There was a movement in hip hop when we decided crack was not good. And
Right.
rap has the ability to make things uncool. Like something we thought was cool, all of a sudden rappers would say, that ain't cool no more.
Right.
And we do have the power to do that.
Right. Goes back to the title. I swear, man, you picked the right title name for this. And we're gonna go to the next bar here is from High Rollers. Speed of life fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass. It's like jumping rope on a razor blade. All lightning quick. Decisions are made. Oh, I'm flowing today. So touch on that bar for a little bit for the people.
Well, speed of life. You know, it's called the fast life. So it's just a play on the word. It's a fast life. So the speed of life, fast. And a lot of people that don't listen, like speed of light. I'm like, I ain't talking about no motherfucking body's light. It's the speed of life. Speed of life fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass. It's like jumping rope on a razor blade. All lightning quick decisions are made. Then it goes on lifestyle, plush. Females, rush. This high profile personality who earns his pay illegally. I'm defining what a hustler has to live like. You know, it's like that's what it's like. It's like you're always on edge. You're always one simple mistake and it's over for potential life or you're going to get shot. So this life is not easy or a casual, you know. Your blood pressure won't go down while you're hustling. You are going to always have high blood pressure. You're going to always be on edge. It's a different life than people see on television, or they look at the glamorous side of it, but it's so stressful, you know. And I was show that in the High Rollers video, and with the song, it's like you want to be a high roller. This is what you think you want to be, you know.
Right.
One of my favorite bars in it is the one about the women. Yeah, I'm here to tell you females also roll, drive the same car. Sometimes we're more gold, cold as an igloo, or hot as a flame. They'll shake you, break you, and they won't know your name. Gangsters to the max, all marks will be taxed. These girls drive Ferraris, not Cadillacs. Respect is demanded. Most men don't understand it till they peep the huge bank that these girls have landed. They're junkies for fun, love life on the run. And if things get hot, they will pull a gun. Prey on the lame, no shame to the game. They all seek power. Fuck the fame. Now, that's the girls. That's the girls. You know, you wanna fuck around with them chicks? Good luck.
Oh man, all facts. Best believe that. And the next bar that we have here is yes, the game has flash, but sometimes hurts. Behind any mistake, hard time lurks. It goes back to what you said earlier.
Yeah, the game has flash, but it also hurts. Behind any mistake, hard time lurks. And jail's not your only problem, though it may seem you just might die from a barrage from an M16. But to each his own, choose the mobile phone, the cables, the tailored suit, the luxury home. You'll never get caught. You got nerves of ice. And you smarter than them crooks on Miami Vice. That's back when Miami Vice was on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For the new kids, that was a TV show about gangsters and hustlers and players. But, you know, this is Ice-T. And like I said, a lot of times the fan base wasn't happy about me pushing a positive line. They wanted the negative. They wanted me to push the line. And a lot of rappers came out doing that. They just came out doing it, like saying, hey, yeah, I'll just do it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But I like I do, I have a moral compass that says it ain't really about pushing niggas down some road that I wouldn't go down or you know, that's corny to me.
Yeah, most definitely. I love these singles. I love the album. I love the singles though, because again, it does serve a purpose. And you young kids, I'm telling you right now, go listen to this. All right. Hip hop is not just what you describe, Ice-T. Hip hop actually served a purpose. You know, there's singles out there with singles like this, you know, to help encourage the youth. There's singles like that out there, you know. So hip hop is not just, you know, just rapping and just negative things. You know, that's the purpose of this whole show, is to bring light and admiration to hip hop back to where, you know what I mean, where it used to be. Because I'm seeing that it's taking like a different turn, and I'm like, nah, we gotta bring the light, the admiration, the harmony back, because it's just, you know, it's taking time. But
one thing I always would do is I would use like the negative imagery to draw you into the story, to catch you. Like preachy, you know. It's like I remember my dad told me a story about his partner who had got all this money and he got all this, he had everything. He was in Vegas and he, you know, had just bought a new Rolls and he this, that, and the third. He had all these chicks coming to the room. So now he got me intrigued in the story and stuff. And you know, when he got me wide open on the story, he says, yeah, and that at night he OD'd on heroin. He was dead with the whole hotel room full of money and everything. The girls ran off with the money, his clothes, his jewelry. So what he did was he took what I wanted to hear and hit me with what I needed to hear. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you listen to Ice-T, there's going to be a catch at the end that should catch you. It's not going to just be like, oh, you go, you know, like an OG. I said that invincible shit don't work. I'll throw you in the joint. You'll be coming back feet first. So, and like OGs like your pops and stuff, they listen to it now. They listen and they know what I'm doing. And now most of the cats of our age are on the same mission I've been on. They pushing the line like, hey, don't do this. Don't do that. I was stupid. I got caught up. Don't go to prison. Because now we got kids and we might have made mistakes, but we're not supposed to be still pushing that shit.
Right, exactly. Especially me, Ice. You know, I know. So,
well, you know definitely firsthand.
Yes, you know that. Yeah. So, and most importantly, now, this was around the time where you formed Rhyme Syndicate. Now, can you detail and describe the formation of Rhyme Syndicate?
Well, Rhyme Syndicate was just a lot of groups in LA that were trying to come out. And I was affiliated with them because I had the first record out. So you attract a lot of other groups. They trying to get around you, you know, they know you seem to know the way. So I had studied the Zulu Nation out of New York City. I also studied Lucky Luciano, who created this thing called the Commission, which was the 5 mob families. And he created a thing called the Commission, which said, before we fight, we sit down. and we try to talk it out.
Hmm.
So in LA, everything that wasn't NWA or dealing with Dre and their umbrella, which included Snoop and all them, was Syndicate. Meaning I had Cypress Hill, I had all the different people, Low Profile, Dub C was down with us, Vine Style, and Donald D. I had groups from all over the country, and I just created an organization of organizations, which is a group of groups with a common goal. That's what a syndicate is. I was the founder, but I have no control over it. So in other words, Jay, you have an organization, you part of the syndicate. All you agree is before we go to war, you say we're going to talk boss to boss. We'll sit down and we'll have a talk and we'll try to squash it. Most times you can squash it because the bosses got cleaner heads than the soldiers. The soldiers just want to fight and you can squash it. So LA, you had NWA and who they became. And that includes Trey D. All you guys, they're off the branch of NWA because that's Snoop. Q branched out with Mac 10 and all them.
Right.
That's one big ass organization over there. Then over there you had Rhyme Syndicate. Those are the other, that was all the other groups out of LA. And Cypress Hill, all the other groups. And with the syndicate, we managed never to have a West Coast beef. Never. The only beef ever happened in the West Coast was NWA, and that was a family feud. And that was a feud amongst groups that we all just had to step back. Easy and them. That was them. That I'm friends with both sides, so we had to let them figure it out, you know, Suge and all that stuff. But we never really had any beefs inside of my organization. Syndicate still stands. Everybody was down with it, still reps. And, you know, it was a brotherhood, so to speak.
Wow. Now, I did not know that. That was definitely a hidden gem. That was an Easter egg. I did not even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
The syndicate has a lot of members. King T, you know, a lot of people decide to say, we'll be part of it. And, you know, we were able to stop Booyah Tribe. We was able to make calls and calm people's nerves down. And LA is full of gangs, and you know, you had all these different members of rap groups, of different gangs, and you know, we had to make it happen. And you know, some people say, "Well, you created your own gang." I like, well, it's more of an anti-gang. It was like, people that decided to do music, basically.
Now I got a question. Now this is for my mom. This is her favorite song and her favorite movie.
Let's go.
Colors, the song of Colors. Okay, the song Colors. Please explain the significance of that for everybody.
Okay, the song Colors comes from the movie. The movie they were going to do was called Colors. And first they didn't even know that they had gangs in LA. They were going to shoot this movie in Chicago. And that somebody said, dude, in LA, they were like, we got gangs in LA. That year, 370 kids died. But at this time, LA gang warfare wasn't on the news, you know, hot list. So when they decided to do the movie, I was on Warner Brothers, so they wanted to use a song I had called "Squeeze the Trigger," which is on the Ryan Pays album. So I knew that if they wanted to use my record, I could see the movie. Anybody out there listening, if they ever want to use your movie in a record, use your record in a movie, you can ask to see the movie. That's some player shit. Like, I don't know. Let me see the movie. You could do that. I was gonna let them use it anyway, but I just used my card. So I saw the movie. It was very how would I say it? It wasn't real. You know, a lot of things weren't real. You know, like the Mexicans and the blacks have never been at war in LA. If the Mexicans and the blacks start fighting, LA would be devastated. That's a war that we cannot ever engage in, black gangs and Mexican gangs. Dear God, there's more Mexican gangs than black gangs in LA. That's a lot of people don't know that. But then also, you know, even the scene where the Crips are walking into the tank and they got all that shit on. By the time
that's when the song played.
Yeah, but by the time you in there, you ain't dressed like no gangbanger no more. And then where they ran up against the Bloods, that there's no part of the county where that happens. They're on a whole nother module, you know?
Right.
So this is all I'm watching. I'm like, that never could happen in the jail. But anyway, I watched the movie. I said, okay. So I said, well, what's going on? You got a song for it? And they say, yeah, Rick James did it. I'm like, Rick James? Rick James is the nigga, but not for this movie. So there was a song. if you get the Colors soundtrack, there's a song called Everywhere I Go, Colors by Rick James. That's the last song on the album. So me and Africa Islam went back to the studio that night and we made Colors. And once again, you know, listen, you'll see them. Sometimes I'll be them. So I became the gang member and I rap from the perspective of the gang member. And without being in a gang, I know exactly how them niggas think because I'm around them every goddamn day. So I rap the perspective of the gang. You know, red or blue, cuz of blood, it just don't matter. Sucker die for your life when the shotgun scatters. The gangs of LA will never die, just multiply. And the song is so good, people think I was in the movie. People like, yo, I was not in the movie. Niggas really got me fucked up like that.
Like, man, I was excited to see you. Where you was at? Where y'all see?
No, they thought they saw me. And then the fucked up thing is on the video, I had to do these disclaimers. Like in the middle of the video, I go, you know, you get a gun, then I get a gun. I had to talk because the record label was like, this is a pro-gang record. And MTV won't show it unless you do some kind of disclaimer. So I had to re-record it and put these little ad-libs in the middle. Don't, you know, I ain't got no that was all extra to get it on MTV. It won an MTV award, or no, it was nominated for MTV award, but the that was not even supposed to be on the record, but that's the price you pay if you try to get on TV and bullshit.
Right. I remember I was singing Colors because I love how the song started. I sung it, and my mom like, don't sing that song. I was in middle school too. She's like, what you doing? You watched the movie? I'm like, I didn't watch the movie.
Nightmare walking, psychopath talking, like that's the worst shit.
Right. It was hard too. I loved it. And also, just a little fun fact, I'm Your Pusher was also featured on the video game True Crime Streets of LA soundtrack, and that came out in 2004. And that was the first time I ever heard I'm Your Pusher because I got the video game, and you and my pops, y'all both featured in the video game, so of course.
What's up?
So the next album, now this album is very purposeful. It's actually my favorite too. The Iceberg, Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, came out in 1989, okay? Singles, Lethal Weapon, What You Want to Do, and You Played Yourself, certified gold. I love this album because it was very expressive and passionate. And Lethal Weapon, to me, you depicted of you taking charge and really defending the hip hop music culture and actually taking a stance. So, number one, what is the purpose and inspiration for this album and art cover?
You gotta remember, so power, I realized that I got power. All right. So now I spoke out a little bit on power. Now they trying to shut me up. So that's why I got a shotgun stuck in my mouth. I got two, look like I got a 357 on one side, a 4.5. And this is how I feel. You know, it's like freedom of speech, just watch what you say, is very important for us to remember even today. When you see people get in trouble for what they say, don't get fucked up with free speech. Like, you have the right to say anything, but people also have the right to attack you for that. So you can't just say anything and think people can't get mad. No, That's not what free speech means. Free speech means you have the right to say it. I just can't come home to my wife and say I fucked your sister. Free speech. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the right to get mad. I can't come out and diss the police and think they can't come back at me. I can't be Colin Kaepernick and drop down on my knee and think that there not going to be some repercussions. You got to be prepared for whatever you do. Something's going to hit back. If you go out to protest, you got to be willing to take the hit. You might lose your job if you say this. So you can't think that under the realm of free speech, there will not be any ramifications. You just have to understand that. So you have free speech, but watch what you say. Think about it. One of my favorite quotes comes from The Art of War, where Sun Tzu says, before you go to war, you must consider the expense. You know, and that could mean a lot of things. If you talk about actual war, will you lose soldiers? Will people die? Is it that serious? You know, let's consider the expense of this war. Don't just do it. If I open my mouth and I decide I want to say something, am I saying it just for shock value, or do I mean it? You know, like I don't have nothing against gay people, so why go say something derogatory and have them attacked when I don't really mean it? It's nothing. I don't mean it. It's like, why am I doing it? So my thing is, if I want beef, I will name you and I will attack you, and I'll be ready for whatever comes with it. I don't got no problems with that. But be more cautious of what you say so you don't get yourself in some shit that you don't even really want. It's just keeping it real isn't just about running your motherfucking mouth, you know? Like people look at me, they go, oh, that nigga say anything. That nigga say anything. I know what the fuck I'm saying, and I know what the fuck I'm not saying.
Okay, to get that clear, you know?
So that was the album was about. It was about now me dealing with power and censorship and the feeling of like, damn, what's the next thing's going, you know, how do I talk now?
Man, I love the sequence of the albums. I really do. You know what I mean? And it's like we going on a journey with you with the sequence of these albums. That's what it felt like. And what I love about
I'm just happy because of your podcast, you had a chance to really go through my albums. I think that's so dope to really talk to somebody who's taking time to really listen to the music, because it's art. And it's you gotta kind of go through it with somebody to really get who I am, or understand my growth too. And you know, it's good. I'm very impressed and proud that you listen to this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You are one of my favorites. Absolutely. A rapper and actor, okay?
me and your dad got the same name, so that gotta mean
I know. I was telling him too. I'm like, yeah, you my Tracy though. My Tracy. Like not my Tracy.
That's why we both grew up crazy. When you get named a girl's name, you got no options.
You gotta be hard, and both y'all hard. Like, hey man, you know what the deal is, okay? Don't treat me like I'm some girl, man.
Not at all.
And what I love about Lethal Weapon, the music video, this the opening scene, how you was trying to go and perform, and the security guys was like, no, you're not performing. Like, dude, I'm gonna go in there. And then, you know, you like, you know, they was like, no, you're not going in. So you was like, I bet. So y'all came in, you and your crew, all black, got the dogs and you got the bats. You was about to wreck stuff up. And I'm like, when I saw that video, I'm like, oh, I'm finna like this.
Yeah, but you know, it's all symbolic, you know, because Lethal Weapon is really saying the mind, you know, that's your most valuable.
That's what you said. Mm-hmm.
That's your most dangerous weapon. I mean, like Hitler never killed nobody personally, you know.
Right.
Charles Manson never killed nobody personally. You have to be worried about these people with these evil thoughts and the power to control people. Those are the most dangerous people. So At the end, I said, we're going to go to the library, get some more ammo. And as a young lady, the more intelligent you are, the more dangerous you are. You gonna be some dummy with a pistol in your pocket, you're gonna go to jail. But if you smart, you unfuckwithable. The more knowledge you know, people really back off you. They come at you like you dumb, but then when you hit them with that intelligence, they back off. They always would come at me, and then they find out that they were up against somebody that was not a soft target. They'd be like, oh, this nigga's smart, And I think I hopefully inspired other rappers to step their knowledge game up, because that's gangster, not being no dummy. Like niggas is asking me about being thugs and shit. Pac was on the thug shit. I ain't never been a thug. I ain't never been a thug. I was always a thinker. I was always a nigga moving the thugs. I never was on I never felt like that. I'm not dissing Pac. These people are very crazy about Pac. You gotta be careful. I'm not dissing Pac. That's just not my thing. I was more like, let's be boss. Let's be the kingpin. Let's be smart. Right now, youngsters, get that knowledge, man. Know your history about everything. They can't fuck you if they can't fuck you if you got knowledge. They can't. They'll try, but they won't be able to.
Right. Totally agree. So on this album, which song on this album is very important to you?
Oh shit. Read the list. What's on there? You got a list? I mean, the first song, The Iceberg, is just me saying dumb rhymes, talking shit about wild shit. Just the Iceberg. Nate, do you got any? I can't. Let me see. So many records. You talking to somebody got 500 records. I don't. I mean, 500 songs.
Shut Up, Be Happy.
Okay,
The Iceberg.
Let's start with Shut Up, Be Happy. Shut Up, Be Happy is me announcing martial law. Shit, we could have played that, during the pandemic. It was like, the world is coming to an end type shit. And that record has been used by Megadeth to open their shows for years and stuff. But that's a good one. That's an opening. What's the next one? The Iceberg. Then what?
The Iceberg.
That's just some bullshit rhymes. Just fun shit. That's nothing. Means nothing.
Number 3 is Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. We talk.
Right. And 4 is You Played Yourself.
Okay. We just ended there. You played yourself. I mean, now people think DJ Khaled made that term up. That's Ice-T once again.
Right.
You played yourself. And that's just more or less like, don't do it to yourself. There's a lot of people out there trying to play you, but you do it to yourself. You doing dumb shit, and whether you're playing yourself with drugs, whether you're playing yourself with the women, whether you're playing yourself with your fans, don't play yourself. You don't want to be in jail saying, damn, man, I did this to myself. So Rakim says, I'll take a phrase that's rarely heard, flip it. Now it's a daily word. So you played yourself. Ice-T, that was my lingo.
Okay.
Next album.
Okay. No, it's just like, I'm absorbing it in. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I watched it. But
a lot of stuff you'll do, and everybody, like, they'll never know the origin of stuff. And then I don't, unless you ask me, I'll tell you. But nah, we started a lot of this shit.
You definitely did. That's why I called you a pioneer. Like, you know what I mean? You was around the formation. You know what I'm saying? You the seed.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So the next album and last album we're gonna cover is OG Original Gangster. Came out in 1991. One of my favorites and one of my favorite songs too. Singles: OG Original Gangster and New Jack Hustler, Nino's Theme. certified gold, and also is charted on US top R&B and hip hop albums at number 9. Okay. So the first bar that we have here for this album is from OG Original Gangster is, I ain't no superhero, I ain't no Marvel comic, but when it comes to the game, I'm atomic at dropping it straight, point blank, and untwisted. No imagination needed, because I lived it.
That's it. You know, don't get it messed up. I'm not a superhero. I'm not no Marvel comic. But when it comes to game, I'm atomic. It's dropping it straight, point blank, and untwisted. No imagination needed, because I lived it. The Original Gangster is just, once again, me saying, you know, how I started off trying to rhyme. I tried to rhyme like New York. And then my homeboy said, man, kick that LA shit. And I did 6 in the morning. That was the real shit. And it's just me trying to explain to motherfuckers like, yo, anybody can get it. I could get shot. But this is where I'm from, you know, and it's just a basic record. Now, the term OG comes from gang culture. They were saying OG when I was growing up. OG means the first generation of a particular set. LA sets pop up. They pop up like dandelions. Like there'd be a set here, then the next thing you know, me and your pops started set. We Trey Crips, so now we done started a gang over here, right? It's a set. But the people who were the original members are the OGs of that particular set. And then it moves on and it grows and grows and grows. Also, LA took on the term OG to mean anything original. So the original 501 jeans, the original Chuck Taylors, the original K Swiss, anything that's the original Daytons, those are so it has a lot of meaning. So it starts with gangs, but it moves into just original. Anything that's original is OG. So I took it, put it into hip hop vernacular, and now that's what they call me. They call me the OG. You know, I put that in there, and in a way, I was the original LA rapper, so it works. And
right.
That album was supposed to be a double album. I was trying on my 4th album to do something special. I wanted a double album, you know, and that's why it was 20. I think it's 24 songs, 20 something. But that time was when CDs came out, and they were like, "We not doing wax," and it threw me off. And they weren't doing double CDs, and so it's just an extra long album because it was intended to be double.
Oh, okay. Got it. It would have been double if it was a double disc.
Yeah,
they was playing games.
Yeah. I was, you know, I always try to do something different. That was always my thing. It's like, can I do something a little bit different? You know, that's it.
Yeah, you're very versatile. Very versatile. and the next what you say?
I'm sorry. We're on this thing, so I don't mean to be disrespectful. It sounds like I'm talking over you.
It's okay. It's okay. The next single, the next bar that we have here is from a track from the album Escape from the Killing Fields. I actually watched that video too. I gotta make my move because I'm a renegade. I recognize when mind techniques are being played. I like that part. Right?
Escape from Killing Fields is basically saying that you live where you live because that was the best your parents could do for you. We are not from a hood or ghetto or whatever. All Black people come from the South. Like all of our relatives somehow come from the South because that's where slavery took place. So all of us migrated to Virginia, you know, South Carolina, or, you know, all of us have a relative somewhere in the South. My mother it's Creole. They're from the French Quarter down there when the slave owners took the French, the pretty women slaves and had children with them. They made a whole bunch of light-skinned babies with light eyes and stuff like that. This is how this migration.
Mm-hmm.
And the killing fields, what I'm saying is now we dumped into these ghettos. It's not necessarily where you want to be. You as a young lady, it's your job to spin the globe, look any place on this earth and say, you know what, I want to live there and I want to take my family there because this is where I think it'll be better. I'm not stuck in Long Beach. I'm not stuck in South Central LA. That was just the best my family could do. So it's really me trying to break down that whole mental idea that you're black and you're supposed to stay in the ghetto and you're supposed to be poor, you know? And I realize when mind techniques are being played, you know, you got to get out. Why? Because the fields are where you die, homie. There'll never be any schools that are any good. So there's a whole mental that says, stay in the ghetto and make the ghetto better. I understand that. I understand that whole theory. But then at the same time, you know, why don't we evacuate the ghetto? You know, why don't we evacuate it? Why don't we move, get our shit and get someplace else safe where there's a better place? I have no problem with people in the ghetto. I just don't like the conditions. And I got love for people there, and I'm from it. I'm from right out of the mud. I'm an orphan. I have no mother, father, sisters, brothers, uncles. I slept in cars in people's garages. I already know that. But I wasn't robbing, hustling, and stealing to stay there, my nigga. I was trying to get the fuck away. I wanted to get to a better life. So escape from the fields is us at least knowing there's a better place and a better way. And don't get caught up in the mind fuck that because you black, you supposed to stay. That's like Kimmie, the Indians you should want to stay on the reservation. That's where you should want to be. Fuck out of here.
Basically. And what I love about this album here is that it was like an evolution, but you still the same person. Like, hey, don't get it messed up now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still OG out here, but you know, it's mentally, it just felt like you evolved on this album.
That's the album cover. The album cover is me standing in my motherfucking living room in Beverly Hills. We posted up, got indoor palm trees and shit. But that's the same nigga right here in shackles. It's the same nigga. Don't get it fucked up. That's what the album cover meant. You know, if I had just did the picture of me in the tux, that would have been like, yo, that's who I am now. Only him. But no, that's same person, you know, just, you know, don't get it twisted, like you said.
Yeah, see, I'm on point. You know what I'm saying?
You're on point. You're seeing what I'm saying. I love it.
Yes, and again goes back to symbolism. What you said earlier, symbolic. You know, and that's the whole point of.
Dig this. Somebody looked at this cover and seen something I didn't see. They say you standing on the cross. I'm like, word. Didn't even see that. I didn't meant that to happen. I'm like, I'm standing on the cross. How about that?
Like, shoot, I did something.
Hey, sometimes you be like, word? That's just, well, unintended symbolism, but there it is. Right.
And also, OG Original Gangster and You was also featured in Def Jam Fight for NY. Man, let me tell you something. I saw so many people play that video game like, man, Ice-T is hard to beat. He just whooped my ass. Let's run that back. And you was looking fly too.
I lucked up in that game. They made me a good character. I was difficult to beat, but you know, they should bring that game back. They need to reboot that game, you know, for the new systems. Everybody loved that game. That was fun.
Yes. Oh, you was looking fly. You had the do-rag, you had the shades on, the necklace, the one earring. You know what I mean? You was looking OG right here. And your opening line is, I'm finna go right through you, chump.
And then when I whoop your ass, says, you're a bitch, your mama's a bitch, Your daddy's a hoe or some shit. I said,
You said, I remember that you said nothing but a punk, your daddy's a punk, and your mama's a bitch. I
yeah, that
remember
shit was
saw someone playing that game. They like, now that was disrespect.
video games.
Like you just whooped my ass, and that's what you said.
But that's how you invade the culture. Like you start off rapping, and then before you know it, you're in movies, you're in commercials, you're in video games, and then you just kind of work your way into the culture of America. And before you know it, you're bigger than just a rap record. You remember you're starting from one single that you don't even know if anybody will care about. And before you know it, look at Snoop right now. Snoop is on every other TV commercial. He's everywhere. He's with Martha Stewart. It's like, I believe Snoop is, to me, the most famous and recognizable rapper of all time. Even though you could say, I don't think people, even though Jay-Z is hot, I don't think people recognize Jay-Z if he's not with Beyonce. I think Jay is, still a little off the grid compared to Snoop. Snoop is unique looking, and if you see him, you know him, and people love fucking Snoop Dogg. This is from an LA, and he's an LA gangbanger. Like, how the fuck? So that lets people know that growth is possible, and it really stops where you stop it, And I'm just happy to even know dude because he's so dope, and every time I do a commercial and shit, he does 3. I'm like, this nigga.
Like, I ain't trying to keep up, but jeez. Oh my goodness, yes. I remember going to school and I couldn't even say who my parents were because people already know who Snoop was. So I just have to walk around like I'm just a regular person.
My daughter, I don't know. My daughter's probably I don't know how old you are, but my daughter's always.
I was born in 98. I was born in 98.
Okay. Well, my daughter's older than you, but she always had a problem, and with guys to today, because the problem you guys always have is you're gonna hold men to your dad's standards, and it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult. So, as soon as the nigga does something out the way, you be like, nigga, you sound like a punk. Like you grew up around such serious shit that the dudes can't really keep up with it because they're not cut like that. And so you have a problem looking at this cat like, really? Like she'll be with guys and they be like, ask your dad for some money. My dad will give you a ski mask and a starter pistol, nigga. Like, you better figure this shit out. And she's seen me grind and hustle as a kid, and she already knows. So I know you lived a similar life. So yeah, man. It even like I'm threatening. I'm not even in it. The dudes do it in their own mind. It's like
right. They already made the threat.
Yeah. I haven't even said nothing. I'm not even meeting the nigga. Who's your dad? Oh shit. Oh no. They just go into it. They go into already. They see themselves getting their ass kicked. They ain't done nothing yet.
Right. They like, man, and he know a lot of people too. Man, we can't touch her.
Yeah, you born into the mob. You had no choice. But hey, it's good. Nobody ain't never gonna do nothing to you, so you know that.
Right. It'll be like, yeah, just know what the deal is, okay? You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm a little trainee too, so Okay, so from this album, what was your inspiration or muse behind creating Original Gangster?
It was just time, now NWA's out, like we say, they coined the term gangster rap. And I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something bigger than anything else I've done. So, I went in with DJ Aladdin. This album, I had DJ Ace, My Poetic Mafia producing, SLJ, had a lot of different other producers. And we just grinded and grinded. We just kept making song after song after song after song. My albums are intentionally all well-rounded. You got gangster records, you got political records, you got sex rhymes, you got just basic bullshit rhymes. But I always try to round them out. I got a song on there about Mandela. I got the song, The Tower is on there about the penitentiary system. I was just trying to make, I guess, a statement of what Ice-T was all the way around. So a lot of people say that's my best album.
I just think that you are overall just great rapper. The best rapper, one of the best. I that's my belief. You know what I mean? But
well, one thing I'll say though, like there's a lot of ways to rap. So you have technical rappers, like Eminem, who are very complex and stuff. And then you have other rappers that are more content based. My favorite rapper is Prodigy from Mobb Deep. And
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And I liked it because you could understand what he was talking about, So yeah. Chuck D says, I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling. So Ice-T raps are really meant for you to listen to, not to dance to. It's just like it's more like literature. Like sit back and listen to this pimp talk to you about life and things. The rhymes are going to be there. They're not overcomplicated intentionally because I don't want you to not get it. So it's done in a way that it's digestible. And that's why I have a lot of white fans, because they can get it. Because a lot of times we can talk in such complex slang that they don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And
true.
I always said, if you can't hear what I'm saying, then how can you hear what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is very important. So I'm glad you got it. And I think my real fans appreciate that style of rap.
Of course. Right. Yeah, that's definitely, I've been knowing that about you ever since I was a kid, how especially like original Gangster and Colors. When I first heard those records, I'm like, man, he's really spitting some real stuff. And at the end of the day, encouraging people who's not involved and thinking, oh, let me get involved because either my friends, you know what I'm saying? You like, no, it's not for you. This is not the lane. There's other ways, there's other avenues to get into and other passions and hobbies that you can do. But the fast life and the street life and all that stuff, if you're not built for it, it's not the way for you. You know what I mean? And that's what definitely helped me, growing up in LA and stuff and hearing, records like that really kept me from like, if it's not meant for me, if it's not aligned for me, I'm not even going to get involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So
who's built for it? Who's built for it? You built for prison? I like, who the fuck is really built for it? You think you built for it. You think you're built for it till you hit that line and that pressure hits you. And then you see these cats and they go into jail and they talking and telling and singing and crying and all that extra shit.
Singing and crying, yeah. How much is singing and crying, man. But all the new listeners, all the listeners that's listening, tuning in, I'm telling you, y'all listen to these 4 albums, all 4. I'm not playing with y'all, okay? Y'all better listen to this. Y'all heard this conversation. All right, this is meant for y'all, okay? So listen to that. So the next segment that we got here, and this is, we slowly finna wrap up, is Biz After Music. Biz After Music, this is a segment that we do where we talk about artists branching outside of music. Now, you, especially in acting, another favorite of mine, you made a few cameos in the movie Breakin', Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Rappin', and your acting debuted on film New Jack City. One of my favorites. And honorable mentions: Surviving the Game, New York Undercover, Judgment Day, Law and Order, and of course, Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit, one of my favorites, and Ice-T Rap School. Let me tell you something. New York Undercover, you played that too well. Okay, to the point to where I'm like, if they don't come get this dude,
Yeah, I killed homegirl. I shot homegirl's pregnant girl. I called it. That was cold with the roses. That was cold. I mean, when the acting lane opened up for me, breaking was just like, I was in a club where they started to shoot that movie and they just decided to use us. And that movie, I was called Featured Rap Talker. They didn't even know what a rapper was back then. But when I got the chance to do New Jack City, I got a chance to be on Fame. I was just like,
yeah.
I was just like, I was kind of torn with New Jack City because they wanted me to play the police, and that's when the original Gangster album was coming out, and that's why I did New Jack Hustler as Nino's theme because I couldn't rap from the police perspective, so I rapped from the Hustler's perspective. But
right.
I come from a background with no opportunity. I come from the hood. So when you start getting opportunities and you turn them down, you a real live sucker because you over here bitching about what's not happening and you black and this, and now somebody gives you a chance and you gonna turn it down for what? I'm not no motherfucker police. I can act like the police. I don't have anything against the police like that. See, one thing people don't understand is that people say, well, you act like the cops. When I was in the streets, I never hated the cops because I was a real live criminal. We was robbing shit, robbing stores, robbing jewelry. To us, the cops were the opponent. They weren't the enemy. They were the opponent. We're going to beat them. We already know what we're going to do is illegal, but we're going to outsmart them. We're going to beat them. If you're a drug dealer, the fact that the dope is illegal is what creates the margin. If as soon as weed becomes legal, it's not as valuable. So you got to understand that the cops are part of the game. You need the cops. It's kind of hard for a person that's really not into crime understand it, but you just have to know that they're not the enemy, they're the opponent. We got to beat these motherfuckers. Now, brutal cops, racist cops, brutal bullshit asshole cop, fuck them. All right. I don't like bullies. I don't like racists. I don't give a fuck what they're wearing. I don't care, badge or no badge. But that goes to police. So when it was time for me to act as a cop, I was worried only because the album was coming out. But once I did that City, people loved that shit. They was like, yo, act, nigga. I was like, what? So I was like, oh, this is cool. So I was the first rapper to ever act as a character other than himself. This is before Will Smith. This is before Pac. This is before anybody. So
before Q, yep.
I'm taking these leaps of faith. But one of my mottos is, you're talking about life after music. You don't guide life, you ride life. You right now, you cannot tell me what you'll be doing in 20 years. You have no idea. And even what you think you want to do, you might be doing something else. There's no way on earth I thought I'd be playing a cop on TV for 25 years, doing your podcast. This is all beyond my wildest dreams. Getting a star, like how the fuck they give me a star? Like,
you earned a star. What you talking about?
As many times as I got arrested in Hollywood, low riding, all kind of getting jacked. I've been in the Hollywood police station more than some of the cops. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo.
Dang.
But this just shows that, you make a change in your life and you start aiming at other things with the same initiative you had to do the negative, you can turn it and you can flip it. And I'm still the same nigga. I just move different.
Right.
I'm not out trying to hurt no motherfucking body or all that old bullshit.
Right. And Law and Order at SVU. I just gotta The way you play Finn, let me tell you something, it's my favorite. And I told my grandmother, I'm like, I was just watching that Law and Order. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I was. That's like my favorite. Man, you no nonsense. I love your one-liners. Like,
You know, dig this. People say, well, how you learn to act like a police? Dig this. Here's the shit. Acting like a gangster and a cop is the exact same acting. The exact same acting. You think about it. I'm the cop. I walk up. I got a gun. I want some answers. Without the answers, there will be some type of consequence. It's a cop. I could do anything I want to you. Nothing's gonna happen to me. That's a cop. So it's the same energy. And what you know, once you're in the streets heavy, the cops higher you move up the game, the cops act more like gangsters than the gangsters. When you get to those gang unit cops and all them, they talk like gangbangers, they act like them, they got a swag, they'll fuck you up. So
right.
When I go on there, they go, well, you have experience with the police? I'm like, yeah, I got a lot of experience with the police. I know exactly how the motherfuckers act. So I could play this guy. And also at SVU, he's against rape, child molestation. They don't even like them in prison. So I got no problems, attacking these particular characters, because even in my real mind, I don't like the crimes they committed.
Right. Yeah. Which explains the Special Victims Unit. It took me a minute while watching it to understand what that meant. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I've been watching SVU for, I want to say 5 years straight. Watch every season. So
crime.
yeah, is my favorite. I love y'all.
SVU is sex crimes. That's what we're about.
Right. Basically, to the viewers. Okay. So I got a few questions, and this is just for the hip hop culture. Now, after years of recording and releasing music, how did you evolve as a rap artist?
I think you just have to be honest and rap from where you are mentally in life. Like, when you're 20 something, you rap from a 20-year-old's perspective. When you're in your 30s, you rap from a 30-year-old's perspective. Now I'm a grown ass man, so I have to rap from that perspective, how I see things. That's it. It's like, so therefore, as you would go through my records, you'll witness the evolution. Maybe I'm not as angry about this. Maybe I'm more angry about that. You can't grow older and rap like you're young. Like, it doesn't work. You're like your brain. So just be honest about it. I think that's the key. Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. The people that are my fans have grown along with me. So I have to rap about the things that they're into too. I'm more adult rap now. When I rap, I'm rapping to cats my age or older, women 35 and above, that basically understand this growth. When you're young, you rap about sneakers. When you're older, you rap about mortgages. It's like shit.
Right. Right. You went from, oh, let me get the new person. Oh, let me get this stock. Yeah. So number 2, can you explain the importance of artist development?
Yeah, back in the days, they had A&R, and A&R was like with Motown, where they would sign you, and then they teach you how to dance, and they teach you how to dress, and they would teach you how to do interviews, and just give you some pointers on how to carry yourself in public, and things you need, because you were not a star prior to this. You were just a normal person, and a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things have to change, and I think a lot of these new cats are getting in trouble because there is no A&R. They're coming right off the block, just dropping right off into hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I got somebody meeting me. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of the new cats getting in trouble because no one's kind of giving them the game, like helping them, with this new life they have. If I was going to do anything, that's what I would like to do. I would like to start an A&R like camp,
Yes.
with some OG singers, like you watch The Voice, and then they say, hey, I picked this person, and you get somebody to kind of mentor you through the lane. That's A&R. That's
Mm-hmm.
A&R. That's having somebody that's already been successful take you and help you. They don't have
Right.
that, and it's very, very important. A&R stands for artists and repertoire, and it's very, very important nowadays, and that's lacking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to make sure that I ask you that question. And which artists or groups did you admire the most musically?
Well, when I was young, I was into Parliament heavy. I was into
Mm.
Parliament, Funkadelic, George Clinton, James Brown, things of that nature and stuff. And, you know, when I heard Melly Mel early in my career, I realized you could put a message into the records. I didn't know because party rap was the thing. Like I said, Schoolie D sent me down the lane of gangster rap and hardcore lyrics because he was cursing and talking crazy. Too Short was right there
Mm-hmm.
saying wild, freaky tales, and you know, uh, Rakim made me understand that you gotta flow the way that he could flow on a rap. Like I gotta make my music, not jerky, nice and smooth, easy on the ears. And Public Enemy made me understand I had to be black and I had to be proud. And I had to push the line. And Cube gave me that power of saying, yeah, West Coast is now something to fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We got a bunch of rappers out here. We not playing, you know. Um, I got so much. I've worked with Big Daddy Kane, another super rapper. Um, I just been inspired by a lot of people, Muhammad Ali, different people. I'm just into people that stand up for shit and you know, ain't just going along with the punches. I'm not into people that do shit for shock value. Like, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that shit's corny to me. Like, be about it, and I
Right.
found that people that say less are really the ones that are saying more, because
Mm-hmm.
when they do talk, it's about something. Motherfuckers always running their motherfucking mouth, man. Shut the fuck up.
It served them purpose. And of course, you're one of them artists that does that. And this is an important question, and this is definitely for the people and for the new age rappers. Do you think that there should be more harmony than controversy in the culture right now?
Well, absolutely. I mean, come on, like you get into music to get out of trouble.
Right.
You know, conflict is very available on the block. It's all that's there. It's ridiculous. I was part of it, but you put a bunch of poor people together, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaos. Um, People ask about gangs and all that stuff. It all comes from poverty. It all
Mm-hmm.
comes from a bunch of people. You don't see people leaving Harvard to rob liquor stores. Once you see hope, once you see a chance, all that shit goes out the window. It looks stupid. So a lot of people that got paper and they look at it like, why in the fuck are y'all doing this shit? It doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be in the mud. You got to be in the mud to be put into a position where this is an option. So I think that I fucks with the new rappers, but they just gotta let go of the bullshit. And they on social media telling them on themselves they're just killing each other. Like you got to think, like back in our day, we lost Pac and Big, and then it just was over. Nobody else started getting. It was over. We lost two kings from the East and the West Coast, and niggas got the message. Like, nah, this can't
Mm-hmm.
happen. Regardless
Mm-hmm.
of why it happened and how it happened, it felt like hip hop had it happen, and we let it, you know, the press let it escalate. They wanted to create an East Coast, West Coast beef, and look what it got us. And we squashed that shit. And after that, niggas wasn't getting killed. And now, now it's every day. Every day. You know?
Yeah, every year.
Every day, every year. But one thing I want to say on the way out, social media, we're on social media right now. Mm-hmm. Social media is dangerous because social media inflames any problem that you may have. It turns it into a bigger problem. So this interview can be edited in a way. I know you never do it, but they can take your interview and edit me in a way that I seem like I said something I didn't say and attempt to start beef. You feel me?
Right.
And then 1 million people got a problem. So when you have a beef, say for instance, I had a beef with your dad, me and Trady going back and forth. I ain't got to even worry about meeting him. I could meet his fans. I could meet somebody, or a relative, anybody out in the street.
Right.
They could press me. I could react. So beef at any level is dangerous. It's dangerous.
Right.
Now take social media. Me and such got a problem in person. It's only 2 of us that know it. But I go on the internet and I say it. Now 1 million people know it. And then the other person feels like they have to respond. They got to do it. If you're a girl and you're in school and one girl's talking shit about you, okay, that's it. But if she puts it on the internet, now you feel the whole school knows. And you girls are committing suicide. They're committing suicide. So this thing we're on is dangerous because it takes small things and makes them big.
Magnifies.
It magnifies it in a dangerous way. So you got to be aware of that, man. You know, everything that's good has a bad side to it. And my daughter, my little baby daughter, is growing up in a world where this is her new reality. And how is she going to deal with it if somebody goes after her on social media? I mean, can she handle it? So this is something we're concerned with. And in hip hop, it's got niggas killing each other.
Right. That's why I asked that question, because it's becoming a common thing, and people are so lost with the whole meaning of hip hop that they think that that's what hip hop is, about murder, killing, gangs. And it's like, no, music, hip hop is art. Hip hop is about expressing our reality. You can't expect somebody from poverty to talk about, you know, oh, I got a college scholarship and let's go to Harvard. And you know what I mean? It's not part of their reality. They don't know anything about scholarships. So I can't expect somebody who came from poverty and from the hood to be like, oh yeah, you know, college is where it's at, when they're not looking at college like that. They looking across the street.
They're not there yet. But if you think about the gangster rap that was born in South Central Los Angeles, moved to Long Beach, went all across the world, there was no violence in LA. You know, none of us shot each other. But there was no social media. You see what I'm saying? How the fuck did all that shit, you got all of us in LA, everybody's tripping, wild, and blah, blah, blah. Nobody got shot.
Right.
True. This shit ignites beef. It ignites it. You know, it takes it to the next level, and it makes it like you gotta do something. So, hey, love is love. Thank you very much. But you know, that's just a social media warning. Don't let that shit hype you up and send you out. You know, we got to do better.
Right. I see. I just want to thank you so much for doing this for me, doing this for the culture, and this is for the new hip hop heads and everything. This is just all around just a hip hop moment, and I just want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? This is also a big LA moment too. So you know what I'm saying? So thank you so much.
I'm very proud of you, you know, for doing this and having this platform, because it is needed. There's so many negative platforms out there that just want to get people to say something, to create beef and start some other stuff so they could get views. I knew it was going to be a positive platform because I know your family, I know where it comes from. And at this point, I'm not really doing interviews. I'm not doing it because I'm not doing it to hype nobody's likes and all that old bullshit. Like I'm doing this because your family, and hopefully you're helping to get the message out so we can make a turn in this and make, hip hop what it's supposed to be, powerful and meaningful, and make changes in people's lives like it was able to change my life. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.